Hey, everybody, it's Tony George and Nick Menken from DocSports.com. Back after a week hiatus on Turkey Day. Last Friday, I was freezing my balls off at the Nebraska-Iowa game in a snowstorm and a miserable result for my Cornhuskers. And enjoying a Turkey Day weekend up in Nebraska. Nick, how was your holiday week?
It was good, especially on that Friday. My Chicago Bears go into Philadelphia and absolutely butt whoop them. 200 plus yards on the ground there. It was a great weekend rolling into that Friday there, and Thanksgiving was good, stuffed up, and we're not eating for a week here, Tony.
The biggest setup line on the board. We talked about it off the air. Why is Green Bay laying 6.5 to them? We'll just let that be. Nick and I both got our top plays of the weekend involved in that game. We'll leave it at that. Doc Sports, free $60. You want $60 off a weekend package? We'll give you $60 off any package. Matter of fact, you can use it with any handicapper on the website. There's the link right above me over here. It's all backwards. There it is. Nonetheless, click on that. Just type that link in or go to the website, upper left-hand corner, and you can get a free $60 from Doc Sports. Comes with a profit guarantee and no obligation. Check us out. Give us a test ride this weekend. Prop cards are $25 any day of the week, and we'll have some prop cards for you. Probably every day, NBA, and then some of the guys do college props too. I don't. There's a lot of college props out actually this week because of championship weekend. They're usually day of the game, but this week they've been out all week for these championship games. So, and then of course, Sunday we'll have our NFL props up. Speaking of Sunday, we're going to get right to it, Nick. I want to talk about a big game in the AFC North, and that is Pittsburgh and Baltimore. This is a must-win game, kind of like the Lions game and the Cowboys game last night. You know, the winner of this game still's in the playoff hunt. The loser probably isn't, which was kind of the thing last night in the Cowboys and Lions game. I think they're still scoring points. But nonetheless, the most shocking thing about last week's loss, absolute ass whipping that Buffalo put on Pittsburgh, was they gave up 249 yards on the ground. Now, Derrick Henry, how are you going to beat these guys? You're going to run the ball. You're going to run the ball against Pittsburgh. But this is a must-win game. You got to play to your strength. I still don't think Lamar Jackson, Nick, is 100%. He's not playing like it. He's not throwing like it. He's not running like it. You got to lean on Henry. He only had 10 attempts last week against Cincinnati and still put up 60. But they were in catch-up mode because all the turnovers, and they had to throw the ball. But his total is anywhere between 80 and 82 yards. 82 and a half yards over, right around 115. He's averaging, his prop for attempts this game is 18 and a half. I think he might exceed that. But I like the over on the yards against this porous Pittsburgh defense against the run. 249 yards. And that was at home. So, yeah, give me Derrick Henry. Have a big day here against the Steelers defense. Nick, what do you got?
Yeah, it's not the most exciting game on the board, but most times or not, we find value here in the prop market when you got the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets here going at it. The Jets coming off of a nice comeback win against the Atlanta Falcons in that one. And how about Miami here? Miami Dolphins, winners of 3 straight. They have completely changed their dynamic on the offensive side over the last 3 weeks here. And where I'm going with this, all of those 3 games, they only thrown the ball in those 3 games 40% of the time. I'm looking at Tua here on his under 30 and a half passing attempts. Now, Tua, in those 3 games that they have won, his passing attempts, 20, 21, and 23 last week. What they're doing here is they're handing the ball off and they're getting Tua, or they're not relying on Tua here to do all the work. They're relying on their run game here. It's been working the past 3 weeks. And obviously, with this Jets defense, they're going to try to do the same thing. They're going to New York here. This is a Miami team who loves South Beach. They got to play in cold weather here. They're going to hand the ball off here. Tua's not going to be passing it effectively and often early in this game. That's why I love his under 30.5 passing attempts in this one. He's gone way under the past 3 weeks. Now, why you're asking yourself and you're sitting here looking at this line, why is it at 30? Now they're going to play cold weather. They're going to run the ball here. It's been working the past 3 weeks. It is under 30.5 passing attempts here, Tony.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how hard you kind of thought that with all the talk about McDaniels, they were going to fire him. They rejuvenated their program in that Atlanta game, which I had Atlanta for a big, huge play, shocked the world. They're still playing hard for that coach. They really are. They like their coach, and Etienne's going to have a big game against New York. I can tell you, you might want to look at some of his props, whether it's catching balls out of the backfield. There are going to be a lot of dump-offs, but, yeah, they're going to concentrate on the run. A big game in the AFC South. There's a bunch of big games in the AFC South. Houston's got to win in Kansas City. Kansas City's got to beat Houston. I was going to go to the game, but it's going to be 24 degrees and raining, so I'm going to pass. I tried that last week, and the result was no good, so I'm going to stay home and watch this one, maybe a sports bar. But the other big game in that division is Jacksonville and Indy. This is a big game. Both teams, especially Indianapolis, bringing in Danny Dimes and everything, exceeded expectations this year. One thing about Jacksonville, they love to give it up to the tight end. Matter of fact, Brock Bowers had 127 yards receiving against them when they played the Raiders. The Raiders don't have anybody to throw to but Brock Bowers, and they still couldn't stop him. I mean, McBride, when they played Arizona, had right at 80. You know, McBride, by the way, is a great tight end, and they love Brissett loves throwing to him. Keep your eye on his stats every week. But Tyler Warren, over 51.5 receiving yards, minus 115 in this game for Indy. Going to be a nice outlet. Good play action guy. A lot of times he jumps back, and he plays in the slot too. This guy's he's going to be a superstar tight end in this league. Give me Tyler Warren over on the receiving yards in that game against Jacksonville this weekend, Nick.
Let's stay in the same game here, Tony. And I'm looking at an Indianapolis Colts wide receiver. We're going to Michael Pittman here on the over 49.5 receiving yards. Now, the past 2 weeks, it's been tough for Pittman. He went against the Chiefs, and then he had that Houston defense. He hasn't hit this line in 3 straight weeks here. Now, the Jags, they are currently allowing the 8th most receiving yards here in the league to wide receivers. I absolutely love this matchup. The Colts, they're coming out into this game on a 2-game losing streak. They just put up 16 points against that Houston defense. And like Tony said, this is a huge AFC South game. This will determine the number 1 seed here. I think Indianapolis gets their offense going, and Pittman is going to be a big factor in this one. So I'm taking his over 49.5 yards. I think he hits this with ease. He hasn't hit it in 3 weeks. I think he snaps it this week and gets over that easily.
I'll tell you what, their big deep threats, Pierce. You might want to look at his longest reception because Jacksonville will give it up deep. I haven't seen that, but that boy, he's hit his prop a lot this year going over on that longest reception, Nick. I mean, I think you might be able to see a little bit of that out of them as well. It'll be interesting to see how well Indianapolis mixes up the run with the pass in this game with Taylor and everything. That's going to – I tell you what, I don't have any skin in that game, side or total this weekend, but it's definitely going to be one I'm going to be watching. That's for sure. I haven't done one in a couple of weeks, and we're going to go a little heavy chalk. We're talking field goals.
There it is.
We're talking Kansas City, Houston. Kami Fairbairn for Houston. The last time this guy kicked less than 2 field goals was September 21st against Jacksonville. Now, they can't run the ball effectively inside in the red zone against Kansas City's defense. And Kansas City's defense is going to be a little pissed off after they got lit the hell up like a Christmas tree at Rockefeller Plaza against Dallas. But Dallas, I'll give them this. It was on display last night. They couldn't outscore Detroit because their bad defense showed up again. But Dallas has one of the more elite offenses in the NFL. You can't say the same thing about Houston. Their defense, you can brag about Houston's defense all day long, which is why you might want to lean under in that game. Plus, it's going to be raining. But that being said, over 1.5 field goals. He's had 2 games this year where he's had 5 field goals and 2 games where he's had 4. What's that tell you about Houston? Their red zone offense sucks. Yeah, over 1.5 field goals for Fairbairn. Houston on Sunday against Kansas City. It's minus 155. The guy's averaging almost 3 a game on the year. Take that. That's my best bet of the day right there, Nick.
I like it. I think the Pittman one is my best bet here, but I got to go and we have to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills game. And I'm going right to the MVP here, Josh Allen, over 1.5 passing touchdowns at a minus 115 in this game. No question about it. This game will be a shootout. Joe Burrow back for the Bengals here. And now you got Josh Allen. Now the Bengals defense is why I'm attacking this. They're 26th worst secondary here in the league. And Josh Allen, over his last 2 games, has thrown 3 interceptions to only 1 touchdown. This guy is due. The lights will be bright here against the Bengals and Joe Burrow. I'm expecting Josh Allen to absolutely go off in this game. Give me the over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I love this bet. I think he easily clears it and has a massive game here at home against Joe Burrow and the Bengals here.
Yeah, they need to. That's the thing about Buffalo. You know, they'll string together a couple good games and they'll have a dud. But nice thing about Cincinnati, you know, beating the hell out of Baltimore last week, that raises up the radar antenna that you got to be ready to play for them. And I think you're right there. Those are 6 free plays. The last show we went 4-2 on. Let's see if we can sweep. You got our best bets. Nick, I know you got a big weekend going on over at Doc's. We got championship college football. Any big hitters in the NFL this week on your Sunday NFL card?
Yeah, I got 2 top plays in the NFL. No top plays in the college football side of things. Obviously, we're in championship Saturday or this week, Friday, let alone. But we have 2 top plays, one Sunday and one Monday night, a 6 unit in the Monday night game. 2 primetime games, 2 top plays, a total of 5 NFL plays. The package is 7 cards total, including 2 college football, Tony.
Big cojones. I couldn't pull the trigger on the Monday night game this week. You're going to have to text me that pick.
I got you. I'll tell you. I'll tell you right after.
Maybe I couldn't see the forest because of all the trees in that game. I rarely get involved with Monday or Thursday games. Those are reserved solely for prop bets. So be sure and tune in to Doc Sports again. We got a free $60. Right there's the link, or there's a tab on the website. We'll park $60 in a new account. Comes the profit guarantee and no hassles. Doc Sports is the place to be. Be there or be square, folks.